Hello everyone. Today I'm going to show you how to use the Zoom feature in Microsoft PowerPoint. If you want to show your findings of a project, whether to your boss, colleagues, lecturer, or anyone else using PowerPoint, I highly recommend using this feature. You can create not just detailed and dynamic, but also an interactive PowerPoint presentation. First of all, you must obviously open PowerPoint and then you insert all the data that you have gathered. I'm using this template as an example of my data. This is not actual data that I've gathered. Now go to the Insert tab and then go to Zoom. You click Zoom. There are three types of Zoom available to you: Summary Zoom, Section Zoom, and Select Zoom. The Section Zoom is currently unavailable. You can see why later in this video. To start off, click Summary Zoom. Before you select anything, you must divide your PowerPoint to multiple sections and then you determine which slides are in which sections. For example, the marketing section, the tables and chart section, or whatever. And then you determine the first slide of each section. So, for example, I'm going to use my second slide as the first slide of my first section. Slide 5 for the first slide of my second section. Slide 8 for third section, and slide 12 for fourth section. And then click Insert. This will create the sections that you have determined earlier and also a summary section. The summary section is what I call a visual table of contents. Instead of the usual vertical table of contents, you can have this instead. It looks way nicer. And then you can also rename these sections by right clicking it and then choose the rename section. Let's name it title. Let's rename this table of contents and this section 1. Just as an example. You can also change the background. Instead of the plain and white background, you can right click the background, choose format background, and then change the color for solid fill, gradient fill, pattern fill. You can also use a picture from a file, stock images, online pictures, and also from icons when you click the insert button. I'm going to use a picture this time, and there are a lot of other options as well, depending on your creativity. Now, if you do use a background instead of the white background, you don't really see this white borders on the what you call thumbnails. These thumbnails has their own backgrounds as well. So if you want to use a singular background, you need to remove these white backgrounds. How to do that? You click the thumbnail and then go to the Zoom tab and then choose Zoom background. There you go. The background of the thumbnail is the same as the background slide. These thumbnails how do you say shortcuts to their respective sections that you have created earlier. So you do the same for other thumbnails. And then yeah, there you go. We have one singular background. Now what this summary zoom actually does is you're going to see this by clicking the slideshow icon at the bottom right section and then click a thumbnail. Left click it until the section ends and returns back here. Go back to the second section and returns back here and go to the third section and it returns back here. It repeats. If you don't want to return back here, you can do that by enabling the return to zoom option. The return to zoom option can be found in the zoom tab. You click the thumbnail and go to the zoom tab and uncheck this box for return to zoom option. Uncheck this for all of the thumbnails if you want. And go back to the slideshow again to see if it works. Click the thumbnail. See, when the section ends, it goes straight to the next section without returning to the original slide. So if you prefer that, make sure to uncheck the box for the option. You can also change these images of the thumbnail if you don't want this. By default, the images of the thumbnails will be the first slide of each section. Like this section one, the slide is this, so the thumbnail will be like this. If you don't want that, and it looks better to change it anyway, so you click the thumbnail, right click the thumbnail, not format image, sorry. Right click the thumbnail, change image. You can choose from these four options. I'm going to choose from my accounts. Let's just click these. And there you go. The thumbnail is changed and will not show the content of the section. So you can also use a shape if you want to make it look better. Go to the insert tab and choose shapes, and then I'm going to use an oval as an example and resize it according to the thumbnail. And I can also change the color of the shape by using the same tab as change the background, right clicking the shape and choose format shape, and then change it to whatever color I want. Let's go for red. And then you can see the shape covered the thumbnail. You need to right click the shape and then click center back. So now the shape is at the back of the thumbnail. So yeah, that's how you make it look better visually. Now next one, section zoom. The section zoom is now available. Unlike before, it was not available. So that is because we have created sections using summary zoom. What if we want to use section zoom without using summary zoom? The sections would have not been created. How do we create a section? It is pretty straightforward. First, I must remove all the sections first. And it is the same step. You determine the first slide of each section, and then just above the first slide. For example, this is the first slide of my first section. Just above it, you see this gap. Right click it, and then click Add Section. And then let's just keep it this name, Untitled Section. And there you go, you have created a section. But you can see if you go back to Zoom, the section Zoom is now available. Now let's create other sections. Untitled Section 2. Let's name this section Mercury. I want to use section zoom on this line. Now, this section zoom is usually used to add additional information on the subject. So if you don't have enough space, for example, here Mercury, I say Mercury is the smallest planet. I add this information here, but it is very little. There's more information about Mercury that I would like to add, but it will not fit. So one way I can to add extra information is using this section zoom. Section zoom, and then click the section that you want, insert it, and there you go. This section zoom is created. Now I want to change this thumbnail to something better looking. You change, right click it, change image from icons. Let's search for Mercury this time. Stick this. Now you have this. Remove this icon. Then change it to this. Resize it according to your will. And there you go. And if you want to see how it looks like, we go back to the slideshow and then click this. There you go. More information on Mercury. Mercury is the closest planet to the Sun. That's it. It looks cleaner that way. So if you want to add additional information on a subject, but you cannot fit it in one slide, so an example would be like this. So you add the information to the other slides, and then you add a session zoom to or slide zoom. We'll get to that later. but you can add a section zoom so you can check the additional information just by clicking the icon that you have chosen. All right, last one. Last one is the slide zoom. I will use it at this slide. Now, slide zoom, unlike summary zoom and section zoom, is only for individual slides, where you can select multiple like this. Now, for this case, I want to use this particular slides, which is bar chart, pie chart, and also circle chart. This is shapes I've created manually, like how I did just now. You click insert and then shapes and then icon and shape. I'm sorry, shape, and then you right click the shape and format shape and choose the color you want. I changed it to yellow. So once you've added the slide zoom, I've added three slide zoom in this case. You resize it according to the shape that I have created. It's all depending on creativity. You can do however you like. This is just my way. So resize it to the shape. This is not perfectly resized, I know, but it's for the sake of the tutorial. So like that. So this is used if you want to put a lot of information in just one slide, but it will be a mess if you put all that together. So it's better to use it like this. You you choose slide zoom, and then you add how many slides do you want, and I choose three here, and then choose a shape to a line like this. This is just an example. You can do it however you like, and then you can do it like this slideshow, and then go to the thumbnail. In this case, I want it to return to zoom, so enable this, and there you go. It is now perfect. Want to see a type of chart. Instead of putting all three charts here, it will look like a mess. You can just put it like this. It is very clean. And just do this and it returns. Do this and it returns again. I do this and it returns. You can also change the background, add a change the thumbnail, and a lot of other things. PowerPoint is just like a mini Photoshop. You can do a lot of things and you can get really creative. So once you have done that for all the slides that you want, any touch-ups that you need to do, and then finally you can save. File and then save. Animation is fine. Remove and continue. Alright, I'm sorry for the errors. Now that's it. That's the end of this video. If this video helped you, please leave a like. I would appreciate it a lot. And farewell.